What's up, boys? Made some progress. I've been out here since 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock this morning, maybe. I just brought in my dinner plates, my lunch plate. I ate out here. I took a 2 hour break out here because I just needed one. And I needed to try to see if there was any way to set my videos to the, these are not for kids. And it's such a pain in the ass trying to use a phone, because it constantly wants to force you back from the desktop style browser or desktop style page to the app. So what I ended up doing was I was able to go in. I couldn't find a setting other than individually by video. I couldn't find a setting to set my channel as not for children, but I was able to bulk set all my videos by adults only. So I'm assuming that's going to be good enough for now until I can get my hands on a computer. But I don't even know how much of a big deal it is. I've always had, actually I shouldn't say that. Initially my videos were monetized prior to the whole you need 1,000 subscribers thing. And then when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I just said, fuck it. I don't want people to have to deal with ads on my videos. That's not what I'm here for. So I unchecked the monetized thing. So long story short, I took a bit of a break, but literally I've been out here all fucking day. It is 10:20, I don't know, going on 10:30, and you can see I made some progress. It'll never be, a shelf queen, that's for sure. This truck is a workhorse, and it always will be. The plastics have seen so much of that clay over the years that they, even when they're soaked in silicone, they still have a white hue to them. That clay has like an oily substance in it that kind of just seeps into the plastic. And it pulls the dye, or it kind of stains it white. You can see, like, for example, right there, you can't rub that off with your finger. You might think you can, but you can't. So yeah, I've been busy, and I'm happy to say it's finally done. I got the servo in. One thing about these HITEC servos, or a few things that I learned, is the servo is taller than the stock servo. I had a Losi 900S in here. And when I went to put the servo in and bolt it in, I hadn't bolted the tray down yet in the front. And I noticed that, and then I tried to bolt the tray down and realized the tray was sitting off the sitting off the chassis about 1/8 of an inch. And so yeah, I had to find some spaces. Of course, you could space it, throw a spacer down there, but that's just ridiculous. So I found some plastic spaces that I had, and I had to put them onto all four corners. I changed out the bolts that were there. They were like they weren't a machine thread. They were a plastic thread, but they were a smaller thread than this. This is a bigger thread. It's more aggressive, almost like a sheetrock screw. So them son of a bitches are in there. And of course, I had to use a washer, so that, I had to use it for a few reasons. One, because these are countersunk. They're not, they're not flat tops. So yeah, I got that in. I see why everybody loves those servos. That thing is a fucking beast. The gear on the top, the teeth on it, the tolerance must be so tight that it almost made it impossible to get, it did make it impossible to get the servo horn that I had on there on. So I decided to use that one, and it's pretty generic looking, but it'll do the trick. It came from DDM. They advertised on their Black Friday sale that they would throw in an aluminum servo horn, and I'm assuming that's the one they threw in. But it also came with this one here, which would probably be ideal if you were going to run the the dual steering setup. And it came with a bag of plastics, plastic horns, and the little tiny screws, which have those little retainers that they fit into, and the rubber grommets and all that shit. Unfortunately, you can't use any of that shit because the diameter on that screw is way too small. But yeah, the servo is taller than this stock servo, so you will need to use spacers. This is the servo horn I was running. It is a universal servo horn. It is 17 tooth on one side and 15 on the other, which is neat. I never saw that before until I came across this. And this here would be 15 tooth, I imagine. It feels as though it is, because I'm able to get this on, but only about halfway down. And I tried to pull it in using the bolt. When I put the bolt through it, I tried to pull, tighten it in and kind of pull the horn down on top of the gear. It wasn't happening, and I didn't want to strip it out. But this one I was able to get on. It's just real fucking tight, man. Super tight. So yeah, that's that. I got it set at almost 90, which is nice. I had to bring this in a bit so that I could, make sure that I didn't have to do too much screwing around on the radio to get my steering aligned. What else? I did pick up another set of these just because I noticed the little tiny rubber grommet or the O-ring that's on the inside of these where they kind of clip together. That O-ring seems like it's wearing out on one of them. I think it's this one. Basically, it doesn't click in like it's supposed to anymore. And if they start leaking or, it's going to cause a problem because now you got an air leak. So I did pick up another set of those on the Black Friday sale for like $5. So we'll keep those lying around. What else? Got the new bead locks in. And of course, I had to pull everything apart, take everything out, let the foams dry out, clean out the insides of the tires. I had to turn them inside out just to get them clean, and I had to scrub them. They had mounds of sand inside of them. The FLM shock ends are badass, man, and I'm kind of disappointed because I went to FLM Fastlane Machine. I went to their website. It's fastlanemachine.net. They're out of Missouri. And I think I had been to their website before, but it had been a while. And I forgot that they must have a sick little machine shop section for the shit that they do, for RC. I'm assuming that's not all they do, but I paid $34 on what they call a Black Friday sale at DDM. On Fastlane's website, they're selling the same set for $30. So yeah, I don't know what to make of that, but apparently we should take a look at these companies' websites before we go ordering from DDM sometimes. Granted, that servo, that was the best deal I could get on it, but even then, eBay, the price isn't far off when you include shipping in terms of like DDM's Black Friday sale versus eBay's price for that servo. So that was kind of a bummer, but yeah, these FLM shock end kits are pretty badass. I wish I just ordered another one. I may just order another set for the front, right from their website, of course, this time, depending on the shipping. The way they go together is pretty neat. There's no instructions and there's no how-to videos out there. Basically, it has the ball and two plastic O-rings, plastic rings that sit inside the shock end, one on each side of the ball, and then the cap that goes on it. 3 screws go through. They kind of stick out the other side a little bit, tiny little like 1.5s, and at the top of the shock end, it has a little channel, kind of a little groove in it that are rubber O-rings. They give you 2 rubber O-rings, and you put them around that channel or in that channel, and it centers and kind of keeps everything tight in the shock perch so that it doesn't move around, and that the rubber is basically touching the shock perch. It's pretty neat. It looks like a good design, and they look strong as hell. Like I said before, though, once you start replacing shit with aluminum, all it's going to do is find the break point somewhere else. So I imagine now that these aren't going to break, I'm just going to end up bending them damn nitride low-C shafts or whatever, because it's bound to happen. But yeah, those are badass, and I definitely recommend them. And the body, I got it clean. A testament to that wrap, man. That guy is selling some quality shit. Again, I got this from Just RC Wraps on eBay for $71 on sale. They're normally like $79. The wrap held a week, for a week and a half, all that clay, all that moisture underneath that dried clay. Then I hit it with the hose, which I think a high pressure, pressure washer would probably be too much for this, but hitting it with the hose takes the bulk of it off, and then you're still left with like a film. For example, this 93 was like light brown, like the color of the clay when I was done, when everything was sprayed off. And then you got to kind of scrub that with like a non-abrasive brush or, washcloth or a rag, hit it with simple green and just scrub. And basically you end up getting that film that the clay leaves, getting it off. After that, I just kind of hit it with some cheap Armor All shit that I had laying around just to kind of, I don't know. This shit feels like it would take well to Armor All, so I put it on there and it did. and hopefully it protects it and kind of keeps, you know, doesn't allow it to dry out, because that was my biggest concern. If it dries out, it's going to stop peeling, because it has a really kind of a pliable feel to it, like a stretchy feel. But definitely impressed with it. I mean, I would recommend these things all day long, even for races at this point, because that ship, I mean, look at it. It still looks brand new. And that, I put a lot of water on that damn thing. And a brush, you know what I mean? And there's nothing peeling up. There's nothing, you know, no issues anywhere. Of course, the wing broke, but I'm just going to leave it. But yeah, I think I'll wrap this up. We're at 10 minutes, 30 seconds. I think I'm ready to go. I tested all the electronics. Everything feels good. I got that extra 900S servo now. Like I mentioned before, I think I'll try to figure out what you need to do to make the Ghost. Of course, I just have that sitting on there, but some crazy motherfucker did put one of these bodies on a Vector. Somehow he found a way, and you can tell it's not that hard to do when you look at the way the rear is designed. You know how you would actually have to do it. I mean, it would be interesting, but yeah. So what was I gonna say? I don't know. I lost my train of thought. So yeah, if I can figure out a way to put the double servo setup in this, because the steering in this thing, it feels loose, but you wouldn't believe it. Or either that servo is really that much of a piece of shit, because it can barely turn this rig. So I'm hoping with two shitty low seat 900S servos, that'll, you know, equate to one decent one, and I'll actually have some steering. I do have some new treads for that. I think I mentioned that in the last video, though. Let me show you these fucking things. I'm starting to have quite a collection of tires, man. I didn't realize it. And look at this fucking collection of bead locks, man. This is ridiculous, dude. Look at this. Look at all these bead locks. It's like, how does this shit happen? So yeah, these here are the Mad Max Super Grips, they're calling them, and they do look better, and they do feel a hell of a lot better than those Rovin ones that than those. So I'm hoping we'll get some life out of these, and they were cheap enough. I think they were $17 for the pair. Again, on the Black Friday special. So I'll pair them with, with these fronts, because those, of course, didn't take any abuse, being it's a two-wheel drive rig. Oh, check this split out in my gas tank. Look at that. So it's time for that old tarnished looking bitch to be replaced. And I guess we'll call it a day. We're ready to roll. Next track day is the 14th. And I'm hoping I can go. I have to make some arrangements. Part of me's hoping it gets rained out and gets pushed another week. But I will be ready if I can go, so that's a good sign, I think. It's just a matter of firing it up. I'm going to have to soak the air filter and get it clean and get that back on, of course. So thanks for watching, guys. It was a hell of a day. I'm literally just wrapping up. Like I said, it's got to be 10:30 right now. I started this morning. I've been out here all day.